Which will now do the Pledge of Allegiance, and if Ben Kennedy could lead us.
Please join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll now move into comments from the floor by the public. Do we have anyone signed in now?
No public comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. We have an agenda today. Is there any changes to the agenda by the team, the staff? Not saying that there is. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Esquaga. May I have a second? Thank you, Mr. East. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. That passes unanimously. We'll now move into approval of the minutes from July 21st. Do any committee members have changes? Not seeing that we do. All right, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Mr. East.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Esquaga. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. That also passes unanimously. We will move into our committee members. E1, we have the president CEO evaluation for 24-25. And are you leading us in this? Okay.
Absolutely, I can start, and then Mr. Larraguetta will take the floor. So as you know, under the CEO employment contract, every year there is an evaluation. And there is also the goals presentation. So each fiscal year, the board sets goals. We have already reviewed those goals, and the board did award a 10% bonus based upon that goal achievement. Now is the merit evaluation. It's really just how well was the job done. As you know, executive staff did that survey. That was sent to you along with, and then had you as board members provide that survey. All of those materials are in your packet so you have the results of both of those surveys. And so now is the time for Mr. Larraguetta to go ahead and provide his opportunity. He also provided a memo to you to tell you about all his accomplishments over that year, as well as it's time to just at the end, you can discuss whether or not you want to provide a merit increase. That is generally seen as an increase to the salary. And then there's also in the contract, it calls for a potential discretionary bonus, fully discretionary of 5%. That's definitely on the table to be able to be discussed as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead, Mr. Larraguetta.
Good afternoon. For the record, Mike Larraguetta. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the Executive and Legislative Committee. It's my pleasure to present the leadership achievements and the impacts for the fiscal year of 2025. I encourage you to ask questions as I go through the presentation at any time. Just get my attention, I'll stop and address those, or we can save them for the end. Okay, maybe. Technical difficulties right out of the gate.
IT skills are not.
Yes. There we go. Little delay. Next that on the wrong box on that. All right, here we go. So hopefully the delay will pick up speed here. Today I'll be discussing the following: the annual production versus budget to prior year results, community engagement, the focus we had on RSCVA employees this last year, the prioritization and success of board communication, engagement, and collaboration, and the new initiatives that were implemented this past fiscal year. It's just stuff. My apologies.
No worries.
Okay.
What did I say before we started? I had faith.
Yeah. Is it on?
And let's do one. They clicked once. Let's see. Okay. They're gonna run simultaneously. And when that one goes, that one goes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're not far away, so we'll be okay. Apologies. Okay, so how do we perform in the major categories versus budget and their prior actual results? In fiscal year 2025, all major segments exceeded the approved fiscal year 25 budget. Tourism sales were up 1.4%. Group sales up 9% over budget. Total room tax revenue up 2.4%. Average daily rate 0.2%, and occupancy was up 0.5%. And looking at how we compared versus prior year actual, this is not moving. My apologies, guys. You know what? Do it the old fashioned way.
The iPad, I was gonna say.
Yeah, we have it on our iPad, so.
Oy, oy, oy. Thank you. It's moving one and not the other. It's going here, but not here. No, but the notes aren't there. It moved yesterday. No, let's just go here. We'll just, yeah. All right, apologies, guys. Be much better next week. Estimated visitors in fiscal year 25 were relatively flat at just under 3.8 million. For fiscal year 26, we have forecasted an increase 3.9 million.
Mike, and
Yes, sir.
actually it gives me time if it's not working right.
It's not.
And I've always wanted to ask this and I always forget, but what are the metric, how do we collect that number?
The
The visitation, is it a number of things? Is it room nights and? people
Christina, do you
per-
wanna, I mean, because we use the different, obviously, through Starter code, prison economics, how else do we collect the data in terms of visitor? counts?
Mostly that, but these visitor counts are mostly through Robert Douglas, this count. And he has a formula that does incorporate a number of factors
I
in
got you.
that mix.
I just always wondered, but, okay,
And Mr. Applesar is online, so I'll let the committee know.
This is unbelievable. It's not working yet.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Absolutely, feel free to
it
pop in
worked-
if you have questions.
it worked there, Mike.
This one. So now it's vacancy here. And that's. But they're not running simultaneously. Okay, so this matches here, right? So when I click, it's not. Up here. There, I did. It's not. Why are the notes advancing?
This is the same file mirror that was. With that brief.
It's the same one.
It doesn't, so if I click here. Let's move that and then let's move this.
Don't look over there. Let's keep on here.
Do this. So I apologize, guys. There's two screens up here. One is a presentation, and one is my notes. The notes aren't moving with the slides, so.
No
I'm gonna go
worries.
old school here. Just let me, how do I do this? That's all I need to know. This? This will advance it? What do I need to click on?
You can just see that.
Someone's moving my mouse. Good time for a water break?
There's some music.
So, Indiana, that's a Indiana. There.
Right there.
Yeah.
All right, try this again. So this slide pertains to comparing fiscal year 25, 24, 25 actuals versus fiscal year 23, 24 actuals. Tourism sales were up 10.2%. Group sales were down 4.5%. But I'd like to add that this includes booking the United States Bowling Congress for future year room nights, exceeding 70,000 room nights in that number. Total room tax revenue was down 1.3%. Average daily rate down slightly at 1.3%, and occupancy slightly off at 0.6%. Looking at estimated visitors in fiscal year 25, we're relatively flat, just under 3.8 million. And for fiscal year 26, we have a forecasted increase to 3.9 million. Those numbers come from Mr. Douglas, Mr. Esquaga. Okay, in the head of that question. When we look at taxable revenue, fiscal year 25 actuals were just under 460 million, which exceeded the fiscal year budget by $10.7 million. Now looking at fiscal year average daily rate, we came in at 145.64, exceeding the budgeted ADR at 145.31. Washoe County continues to see moderate growth in overall room inventory. RSCVA works very closely with our stakeholders, like service properties and Airbnbs, in determining the total inventory in our market on an annual basis. Performance at our 4 facilities varied by property. At the Reno Sparks Convention Center, fiscal year 25 revenues were below prior year actuals by $266,000. This was due to a decrease in event attendance of 52,874, despite the team increasing the number of events year over year from 178 to 189. This resulted in an increase in occupancy by square footage of 2.93%. And looking at how the Reno Sparks Convention Center performed versus budget, the overall revenues exceeded budget by $528,421. Turning to the Reno Sparks Livestock Event Center, fiscal year 25 total revenues were below prior actuals by $130,442. Due to a decrease in attendance of 83,014, which resulted in the overall occupancy by square footage decreasing by 2.17%. Despite the declines, the number of events actually increased from 63 to 77. The RSCC overall revenues were below budget by $67,995. The Reno Event Center, which as this board knows very clearly was our biggest struggle over the past year, had a below revenue to prior year of $635,000. There was a decrease in the event attendance of north of 58,000, and the number of events also decreased from 43 to 35, predominantly due to the fact of lack of concerts and events at the REC. Despite the decrease in revenues and attendance, the actual occupancy increased by 4.77%. The REC overall revenues were below budget by $629,207. The National Bowling Stadium versus prior actuals saw fiscal year 25 total revenues being below by $461,871, again, due to the vacancy of the United States Bowling Congress tournament. There was a decrease in event attendance by 27,000 and occupancy by square footage decreased by 4%. Although the number of events increased from 71 to 105. So direct impact of our priorities of activating the National Bowling Stadium. We added over 34 events year to year. The National Bowling Stadium overall revenues exceeded budget by $118,000. So now let's take a look at our fiscal year 25 marketing achievements. Paid media, partner referrals, website sessions, and social media community all exceeded fiscal year 25. Website sessions to our 4 venues all exceeded approved fiscal year 24 goals. I want to specifically address our paid media engagement rate and partner referrals. The national average paid media engagement rate is 5%, and we finished at 17.1%. Partner referrals, which are direct referrals to our stakeholder and partner websites, were up 26% year over year. The leisure segment is the largest contributor to room tax. Effective marketing and advertising to this audience is a priority. In fiscal year 25, we placed 3,955 ads in market, resulting in 67.8 million ad interactions. Leisure ad placements focus on key drive and flight markets where we have direct air service. The meetings and convention segment, we placed 449 ads in key markets, generating 3.59 million ad interactions. Again, the focus was to place our ads in markets that we have the largest probability of converting meetings and conventions for our region. Telling our story and getting in front of the media was our priority this past year. Those efforts resulted in 40 interviews, 275 earned media placements, with a reach of 4.87 billion and 310 backlinks that primarily link directly to our partner websites. Visit Reno Tahoe were the recipients of several destination marketing awards. A few highlights include being named the best CBB by Smart Meetings, Website of the Year in the Best of the West Media Awards, and 3 Addy Awards for visitrenotahoe.com and advertising photography. Community engagement was a priority for the team this last year. We needed to educate the community about the RSCVA, who the RSCVA is, what we do, why we exist, and how we support our community. I participated in 47 community engagements in fiscal year 25. A few highlights include presentations to WIN, the Lions Club, the Spark City Council, participation in the Indie Talks at the National Auto Museum, and my personal favorite, being a judge for the Mendite Middle School Art Show. In an effort to bring business leaders, stakeholders, board members, elected officials, and members of the community together, we implemented quarterly stakeholder meetings. Topics and guest speakers included tourism marketing, public relation updates from Good Giant and Decker Royal, the indoor track grand opening, strategic plan participation and overview by On Strategy, and introduction and presentation for our new agency of record, Miles Partnerships. In fiscal year 25, we implemented multiple programs to prioritize our employees. For the first time in years, we offered every employee at the RSCVA the opportunity to participate in confidential employee surveys. The results indicated that 84% of our employees are happy, 39.6% were very happy, 44.8% happy, 12.1% satisfied, and 3.5% in the unhappy category. Happy employees tend to be more engaged and committed to their work. They contribute to the happiness of customers and clients, produces high quality results and improve teamwork. We held 2 staff appreciation events this past year, a holiday party in January with 154 attendees and a year-end summer party in June at the National Bowling Stadium with 139 staff and family members. We held 2 staff, we created the Spotlight Employee of the Month program, culminating with announcing the Employee of the Year in July. This program allows staff to recognize their coworkers for their commitment, dedication, and making a difference in the workplace. Collaborating, engaging, and communicating was also a priority in unifying the CEO and senior staff with the board of directors. Board members were invited to participate in local events, trade shows, in-market client events, in-person meet and greet with clients and employee functions. Thank you to board members that joined us this past year for Banana Ball, Spotlight Employee of the Year banquet, the indoor track grand opening, the Kansas City Chiefs game, and of course, Nevada home football games. We introduced several new initiatives in fiscal year 25. We contributed to 22 requests to the unsolicited request for sponsorship and funding program. Highlights included the Sierra Arts Foundation, Give Hope Foundation, Midtown Snowflake, Nevada Women's Fund, and the Food Bank of Northern Nevada. This past June, we announced Miles Partnership as our new agency of record. The bid process took 90 days to complete, reviewing 15 RFP submissions, 35 scoring criteria points, 6 internal and community panel members reviewing and scoring bids, and 4 in-person presentation by the agency finalists. Increasing Air Service Development Fund was a priority in fiscal year 25. This budget was increased from $750,000 in fiscal year 24 to $3 million in fiscal year 25. I also participated in airline headquarters visits with leadership from RTIA and EDON. We also introduced the RTX event for airline executives, meeting planners, and tourism executives. This event is centered around the American Century Golf Tournament. This past year, we had 8 scheduling and routing executives from Legacy Airlines, 16 meeting planners, and 14 tourism executives who participated in the RTX event. In an effort to improve the sense of arrival for convention and special event attendees, we scheduled live music at the airport for 17 convention groups and special events. Our commitment to venue activation resulted in several new activities at all 4 venues. We hired a dedicated sales manager to promote and sell MBS packages utilizing the Stadium Club, King Pit, and the 177-seat theater. We successfully sold advertising and sponsorship in all 4 venues. We have identified a tenant for the museum at the National Bowling Stadium. Regional and local artists were selected to paint murals in all 4 venues, and the board also approved the RSCVA to take risk of contracting concerts and events at the Reno Event Center. The 14 themed public bowling days brought over 2,800 bowlers to the National Bowling Stadium and generated over $15,000 in proceeds for local and national charities. Here are samples of the murals that were completed in all 4 venues in fiscal year 25. We'll be adding additional artwork to our venues in fiscal year 26 with a goal of 1 mural being completed each quarter. Capital improvements priorities focused on technology, efficiencies, and sustainability this past year. In partnership with the Reno Aces, we hosted the Party Animals in Reno in April, and the 3-day event resulted in 3 sold-out games, 26,683 tickets being sold, of which 42% of the tickets to these guests traveled 50 miles or more to attend their game. The inaugural indoor track season was a tremendous success, with 8 meets generating 12,790 room nights, 133,000 in convention center revenue, and an economic impact of over $6 million. Year 1 media coverage produced over 85 local and national stories, 134 million in total reach, and an ad value of 1.4 million. As we anticipated, year 1 success has resulted in increased demand for additional meets, team participation, room nights, upgraded competition, and economic impact in year 2. We project this momentum to continue in future years. The indoor track program sparked a destination-wide campaign, layering our No Limits ambitious audience with running enthusiasts with the launch of the Hit the Ground Running campaign, which secured a national sponsorship with Strava and activated influencers in the running community. In June, we held our first Reno Tahoe Creator Camp, featuring 8 prominent influencers with a reach of 8.5 million Instagram followers, 40 attendees from 4 countries, 13 states, and 28 different cities. The stats produced by Creator Camp were mind-blowing. Social media impressions exceeded 10 million. Engaged website traffic increased 22% year over year and generated over 30,000 website visits to the Creator Camp webpage. There were also 2.2 million Reno Tahoe Instagram views, 300 plus social media attendance and creator posts, and over 2,400 at Reno Tahoe Instagram follower group. This year was just the beginning of our found success. The board of directors recently approved the annual and 3-year strategic plan. Our approach to writing this plan was to engage stakeholders, business leaders, RTIA, EDON, board members, senior staff, and on strategy for direct feedback to identify the priorities for our region for this 3-year plan. This process to complete the 3-year strategic plan was a 6-step, 6-month process that began in February of 2025 and culminated with board approval this past June. The approved 3-year strategic plan is not your traditional DMO plan that focuses on sales and marketing. The 4 identified priorities are urban core revitalization, venue activation and event attraction, visitor access, and organizational sustainability and performance. In conclusion, we exceeded many of our financial, sales, venue, and marketing benchmarks. We deepened our connection with the community, prioritized employee engagement, and introduced bold new initiatives that will carry this past year's momentum forward into the future. Looking ahead, the foundation we built through the strategic plan, enhanced air service development, venue activation, and destination marketing will ensure that Reno Tahoe not only continues to compete, but thrives as a premier destination. Thank you very much.
Well, that was worth the wait. Great. Good job. What an amazing year you had at RSCVA. That was really cool. Mr. Esquire, do you have anything? I don't know.
No, I'll wait till we get into the whole discussion. I think it's great.
Okay.
Well, I feel like we can reverse some of this because we've gone through
We talked
over
about
the
it.
year, but I think it's been great. Yeah.
It was great. Do you have anything, Mr. Reese?
I've been impressed by the community engagement, and just I feel like the teamwork that I've seen, Mike foster, I think is just, really important, particularly on the heels of, what for a time was, a little bit suspect in terms of that leadership. So I feel really good about it, and I think you've done a good job, and I think the team, we're only as good as the team that we have, right? And I think,
Every day.
yeah, the team has performed outstanding, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Abelazar, do you have anything?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just echo Mr. East's comments and say it was great to hear a synthesis of the amazing things that Mike and his phenomenal team have done this past year. I consistently stand amazed at their great work at growing and really being the driver at making Reno Tahoe the destination on the West Coast, and I hear it all over the country, and it's all tribute to him and his team. So thank you, Mike, for everything you've done.
Sure.
Great. So Molly, we are here to discuss both the salary and the 5% bonus.
Yes, that's correct. So under the CEO contract at paragraph 2, and the contract was effective April 25th of 2024. So it's about 18 months ago. The CEO salary was set at $315,000. Increases could, under the contract, begin as of July 1st, 2025. In the past, because of the way a fiscal year works here, it's a fiscal year that ends June 30th, but to get all of the data and everything that you need to be able to look at the goals and to overall evaluate the performance, there's a lag time there. Traditionally, we have retroactively made, if you do a merit increase, it has been retroactive to July 1. And then the contract also provides, as you know, we had talked about goals before, and a 10% bonus was awarded based upon performance of those goals. The contract also provides for a 5% fully discretionary, the sole discretion of the board, if you wanted to provide a 5% bonus. And so you can do so. And candidly, a board can do whatever a board wants to do with respect to that. That is just what was negotiated as part of the contract, that it would be considered.
And I think that Mike warrants a merit increase for sure, and I'm so happy to chat about that, and then we can also talk about the bonus, so. I don't know if anyone has,
So real quick, just to clarify that though, because again, the semantic, I gotta get. The bonus, not the discretionary, the bonus has been hit off the goals.
Yep.
We discussed that last meeting, right? And
That has already
That's
been
been done.
awarded, that is
Right.
done, so that is not on the plate today.
It's really merit and discretionary.
Yes, and the merit, just so everybody's aware, it's an increase to salary.
Mhm.
And so it's something moving forward. The bonus is, you know, a one-time bonus of whatever you decide, fully discretionary.
And just so I'm clear, we're not talking COLA, right? That's different.
So, no, it is different, and generally speaking, it actually I think is probably in this contract too. That the CEO is not part of
Right.
the overall COLA, and Mike, please, I think maybe we also said executive management, I think you put in place as a policy, but I can't remember.
Yeah, Mike Larrigan for the record. So, we had made a decision, to remove the COLA language out of the CO agreement when I was negotiating, my terms in my agreement. And so what we did this, fiscal year is we awarded a 2% COLA to frontline staff, a 1% COLA to managers. Anybody above that in terms of directors, senior directors, executive directors, vice presidents, and CEO did not receive a COLA.
And the basis of that, I think, and you can also say, is that when you reach a certain level, COLAs are really meant for keeping up with the cost of living. And when you reach a salary level of a certain point, it's just not serving the same purpose.
And and this is more directed to Mike, but for your executive team. And I don't know if we have a budgeted as a line item, but for merit increases, what's the window you look at?
Yeah, sure. Mike Larrigan for the record. So we have a variance between 0 and 3% that is authorized by those that are doing reviews and have the authority to give merit increases. If there is an employee that is exceeding or has done a phenomenal job in their respective area of responsibility in their department, that supervisor, manager, director, vice president has the ability to come to me and make a petition or request to exceed the 3%. But it is generally capped at 0.3%. We also this year, I met with Lori Tangy, our director of HR, and we created a template that allowed us to give every individual that is completing those surveys and those merit reviews examples of what would fall under each category of 0, 1 to 2, and 3, so that they would have a guide to use based on hitting those numbers.
Good question.
I mean, I'm inclined, you know, again, these are big numbers
Yeah.
and number of different kind of planks to it.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm inclined, are we there? Are we
Yeah,
there to just kind of?
I am, are you there? Okay, I think we're all there, yeah.
And it's. Because I didn't mean to just pass my comments, I think Mike, I think you and your team have done a great job, and I
Yeah.
think the breadth of. Kind of your oversight of this organization, and there's straws into so many different areas. From, you know, events to the operations of the facilities to the people side of it. I think being present and at the table, you've done a great job. I think on the bonus piece, you know, we went through kind of a painstaking process
I know.
as this group,
Yeah,
in trying to calibrate weighted pieces,
Mhm.
you know, and honestly, I went with the vote last time. Even though I know it was just, I know Eddie, you may have disagreed in saying we're stepping over dimes to pick up pennies or however, whatever it is. But I'm gonna be off this board, so it doesn't really matter going forward. I think we should go back to that, not this time, but I think if something comes out to 93% of what you can hit, that's the
That's
number,
fair.
right? That's
I'm
fair.
with you.
And even on
100%.
goals, there's, you know, they're not there just to hit every goal. I think there's stretches, and that being said, that's put to bed.
Yeah.
I'm done with that. I'm good. I'm comfortable in the 3% merit range. I do think you've done an exceptional job. If the group felt or the board overrode that and wanted to go or something, I'm not gonna fall on the sword, but I'd be comfortable with a 3% merit increase. And I think the discretionary, I think the 5% is a very, I feel like you've hit all the targets. I don't think it's an excessive number. I think we've kind of reeled it back from where there were some discretionary percentages that I think just is a quasi public agency I was not real comfortable with. But I would be comfortable with a 3% merit and a 5% discretionary.
My only comment around the 3% merit versus something larger is we are talking 14 months basically of time during that, so it isn't an annual. So there is a gap there, and typically when we do these, right, we do take into account that 1/6 in this instance, right, would have been in addition to, so if we think about that 3% going to 4 or something like that to account for that additional couple months, I think that's reasonable to consider.
Or would you take it retro to that point? Could you do that too?
You can, if we're retroing back 14, is that what we're gonna do, is retro back 14 months?
No,
Just
so
3 months, just
so
from June to
Yeah.
September is all it is.
correct, yeah, so
5%.
basically, if you award a merit increase, whatever that amount is, 3%, 4%, whatever, we go back to July 1. And it's because you're awarding it for that one fiscal
Previous
year of
Mhm.
performance, but he did start the job. The point is, he started the job in April.
Correct.
And it's a July 1 to June 30th
Right.
timeframe,
So
so
it
he
is-
has that extra couple of.
Right, so, yeah,
I'd be able to.
I'm struggling with the 5% additional. So bonus has already been, we've already, and I wasn't on this group prior, so I wasn't privy to that, but we've approved the bonus for Mike and the team already, correct?
Yep,
And so when we think about the additional 5%, I mean, I guess when we're talking about stretch, again, in the private sector, right, we're talking about stretch, we think about, did we beat prior year and did we beat budget? Did we surpass our goals to the point where that's warranted? And so that's the one that I'm on the fence with, is the 5% bonus, but I can see 4 or 5% on the merit, given the lag, the additional.
yeah, and I'll call on you, Eddie, I'm sorry, but I'm coming from the public sector and being sensitive, and I've talked to Mike about this. I think he's doing a great job, and I actually think RSCVA is on the best track that it's ever been on, and I've been part of this organization in different ways throughout my entire career. So I have seen all the iterations of RSCVA, and my mom worked here too, so she has amazing stories that I will tell you later. But of working at the RSCVA. So I'm really optimistic and I'm really excited about what you're doing for this destination. And I think it's like helping us all, it's lifting all of us, and in a time when tourism's tough right now. So that's really exciting. But for me, I prefer to do merit. I will do bonus. Obviously, I will approve bonuses, but I just for the public sector, I want to just make sure that I'm being fair and looking at these things really in a way that is sensitive to the fact that we have a public process and we have stakeholders, and we want to make sure that they feel really good about the board's decisions. So, but I love this committee because we actually do really dig deep and dive into the details. So I think we'll figure it out.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, Mr. Alazar.
Goes and I wouldn't mind having a couple.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Eddie Ablos for the record, and interrupt me if you guys can't hear me and I'm talking and you don't know what I'm saying. Please just interject and let me know that you missed or can't hear me. I think everyone made some really good points. I want to sort of go back and revisit a couple things that informs how I approach this conversation. I think one, in reviewing our CEO search, I think it's important for us to remember the complexity frankly, the headaches that we as a board were dealt with during that search, and going to the community and resoundingly hearing from the community the support and favor for Mr. Larraguetta through that search. And then recognizing that Mike had to actually wear two hats for quite some time, doing multiple duties before we awarded him his full job, and he assumed those duties um, legally through the board. And so I think that's something that we need to also take in consideration. I also remember that when we negotiated his salary, those salary points came in lower than many of the other external voices that tried to come to the community that were external. And it certainly was, I hate saying it, but in Reno, we love to do the hometown discount. And I think that can only bring us so far with quality talent. I think it's important for us to recognize the superstars that we have right underneath our nose and reward them. And so I would just encourage you all, Mr. East, when we go back to that bonus, we were bound by very strict guardrails on that initial vote. And I think you heard me say at our last meeting, there was some discrepancy on what we were going to do. But I mean, we're literally talking about, I think, that's where Mr. Squaga mentioned tripping over pennies and forgetting the dimes type of analogy, right? We weren't looking at the long goal there. It came out to maybe $5,000 total, very minimal in my opinion on that bonus. And so we are limited, and that's why we have this discretionary. The discretionary is to look at someone who did the job and checked the boxes, and yep, we moved through the process and they were average because that's what we asked them to do. Discretionary gives us the chance to look at exceptionalism and say, this individual went above and beyond. This individual is bringing new ideas, new innovation, and new life into the RSCVA and leading in a way that is respectable. And so I think what you have all said have been very affirming of Mike and the work he and his team have done. I would encourage that we look at that discretional, because that allows us to go above and beyond, and it truly is it is our chance to say, look at the last year and what you had to do, and it's really last 18 months, right? What you had to do, and thank you for doing that for us, because you really brought us through a tough time. And then the merit is, all right, moving forward, we believe in you and we want to move forward. And so I'm fully supportive of that full percentage for the discretionary. And to Mr. East's point, I think we need to look a little bit higher based on the work he's done beyond just the 12 months in the past on the merit piece. Thank you.
Maybe 4% merit, 5% bonus. Is that what I'm kind of hearing?
Well, I'm even wondering, I'm gonna throw it. I think we can come to a place on the merit. And I'm good with, I think you're bringing up good points, everybody, of the time. Discretionary being just that discretionary, and we all kind of have different opinions. I don't mean to just punt, but do we say, look, we can make a decision on the recommendation for merit and discretionary? We should get the full 9 members. I think we can still weigh in with.
Generally,
We all have
okay with
generally
5%.
some, but to come in with a specific number
Mhm.
on merit, or I mean, I'm sorry, on discretionary.
Mhm.
Maybe we open it to the full group and use that time to kind of get everybody's take. I'm like I said, I originally said 5% for discretionary, but I'm open for kind of hearing what the other.
What's the primary bonus? What did we approve at last meeting for the primary?
So under the contract, with the goal setting, it is a 10%
10%.
bonus.
Okay.
And that was what was approved.
Yeah, and this is where I'm on too many boards, and perhaps my perspective is not for the RSCVA because it's a different type of agency, but I've never given more than 10%. But I know that's different because we're looking at a goal based, and then this is a discretionary decision. It's all discretionary, it turns out. Every contract that goes before these boards are discretionary, how you want to do it, but just that's my perspective on how other boards are operating in the community. But
In a way, though, it's not discretionary on that, because that's part of the contract.
Yeah, it's the contract,
Right,
like
so
performance,
we,
sales.
right, I mean, I guess it's discretionary if we were to accept the contract.
It was negotiated.
Right, it was
and that-
negotiated,
Correct.
yeah.
If the goals were met or regardless.
No, the goals need to be met. So the 10% is to those set goals that the board makes the decision on what those goals are each year. And then a percentage to each goal is made and that goes up to the 10%. So that was what was negotiated in the contract and what happens each year that the contract's in place.
But I think it's critical to point out, that's why I think it's so important, and again, moving forward, it's not done, but moving forward on those set goals, if they hit
Follow the formula.
8.7% of the 10%, that's the number. Because we just discretionarily added to the discretionary,
Yeah, we sure did.
which is fine, and I don't wanna go now, well, then I'm gonna shave off my
No.
discretionary. But I think that's why it's so critical that we put all the time into those weighted. You hit part, and also that it's not an all or nothing. If you don't hit that goal, you don't go zero. You get a piece of it.
Each of the goals have different levels, like you get 75% of the 15% goal if you meet this goal, depending upon what level, so they are all. Some of them, the lower percentage amount goals are either just you get it or you don't.
I mean, I don't know if the group would be comfortable with a motion to say, and again, I don't know, I think the point of the timeline running longer, whether the merit is 4 or 5%, I'm open. We can flesh that out more, but
Yeah,
with the thought that the discretionary will be discussed, but the group is supportive of it.
Yeah.
Discretionary bonus fees.
I totally am with you. We should, the one thing I've seen, and this literally happened in a review just recently, a public review, where everyone was just kind of like in the room, like sitting there, the whole board, and we all were very excited about this person that we were reviewing, but that's why, yeah, like providing leadership of like, but we could be ready to go with 5% just to say we've vetted this.
Sure.
Yeah, just so I feel like as chair of this committee, I should come in prepared, so it's not weird.
What we have done in the past, if this is helpful at all, is as part of the packet, because we do for the board packet include all of the materials that were part of this packet for this agenda item, as put a cover memo about what the committee has done and based on the committee's recommendations, so we can kind of give that guidance that the committee is stating in that cover memo that would come from you.
Okay. So
I'm good with the 5% in merit, I think, too. I also think
Yeah.
it has a compounding effect as well.
It
right?
does.
Bonus and everything else.
And
So
it's compensatable, you
Right.
can't beat that, like,
Yeah.
that's what I'd want, but anyway, so I think that we can. So 5% merit and 5%, up to 5% bonus, but would like to talk it through with the board.
I mean, and on the private side, I mean, a 15% total bonus for a CEO position is again, in the private sector, that's pretty low.
Okay,
So, and I understand
Good
that's not the
perspective.
business we're in.
Yeah.
Right here on this board, but just for perspective, that's pretty low. So I can see my way clear to it if I
Great.
like the idea of running into the rest of the board and seeing if there are different perspectives that we can coalesce around.
That's great. Mr. Alvazar, what do you think?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Eddie Alvis for the record. So I'm comfortable with the motion as presented. I mean, I do want to bring up something that I learned in my new service on the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority. I'm sure Member Young will bring this up as well, but looking at the leaders in our region that really drive business and industry into the Reno Tahoe Basin. You're looking at EDON, you're looking at the Airport Authority, and you're looking at RSCVA. And you know, I'm going to be a little bit of a homer and say I think RSCVA is really the biggest driver. Although I love what EDON does, and I love what the Airport Authority does as well. And to Mr. East's point, both of those leaders have done tremendous jobs, and they've both been given a very significant bonus and merit increase into their respective employment. And so I think knowing that we, as the trustees of this associate authority, are sending Mike in conjunction with you know, both Darren and Taylor to really lead this region. I would love to mirror the work, the approval that their respective boards gave them as well. And so that's why I'm supportive of the maximum for that discretionary. I would love for us to do that. I think it's a great sign of trust and gratitude really for Mike stepping up and leading and putting us in such a great position. But if to Mr. Squaga's point, if he's more comfortable bringing that as a up to 5% recommendation, and then we all talk about it as a broader board, I'm comfortable with that.
Great. Okay, so are you okay making that motion, Mr. Isabel?
Sure. So I'll make a motion to increase Mr. Larragueta's merit pay, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
By 5%. And with the second piece being the discretionary, I think the group is recommending, we're very comfortable with going up to 5%, but would like to have the full group discussion on that.
Thank
Does that
you.
make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. And Molly, will you help me with that memo?
I will draft that
Thank you.
memo.
I
Send it over
appreciate it,
to
and
you.
I'll sign it. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
I
Thank you. Any opposed? Hearing none. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you to the team for coming together. Pretty awesome. Okay, we have one more item of business on the agenda, and it is E2. This is a revision of the President CEO Leisure Room Night Goal for fiscal year 25-26. And I think this is just a cleanup situation after learning about some things last fiscal year. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike Larragueta for the record. I will tee this up and then ask Mr. Jimenez to provide some additional color if needed. So when we were going through the process last fiscal year and determining the results of the leisure sales goals, there are several segments that comprise that go into the leisure sales segment. There is online travel agencies, there is receptive operators, there's tour operators, there's wholesale, there's travel agents, there's motor coach, etc. It was brought to our attention after the completion of the fiscal year, one of the major stakeholders was reporting youth sport group rooms into one of the leisure sales segment buckets, therefore inflating those numbers for that property by a significant amount. When that was brought to our attention, the first thing that we did was remove those room nights from the produced actual leisure room night production numbers to ensure that it did not impact the results of the team hitting their goals and being compensated for hitting those goals. So that impacts obviously Mr. Jimenez and leisure sales team. It impacted one of the goals for Mr. McGinnis and then one of the goals for myself. We did confirm that it did not impact those results, so there was no change in compensation, but it did for the goals moving forward because we utilized that initial number of completion and produced room nights in establishing the goal for this fiscal year in 26. So what we're asking the board today is to take into consideration after backing out those room nights because they were put in the wrong bucket of restating the new goal based on a percentage increase of the prior year established goals for fiscal year 26. Did you get it all?
Okay. Great. Any committee member questions?
I think I do, and I should say this in previous, so public apology.
No, please. It's a great point. Thank you, Mr.
So we're reducing this goal, right, for the miscount. Isn't it a zero sum game though don't we need to raise one by a commensurate amount as well? Or does like I would I would think it would be in the plus group segment, right? Am I thinking of that right?
Or youth sports group.
You
I know we-
sports,
So the youth sports, the group numbers and the property level are not impacted in the group numbers that we establish as goals at the
Okay,
RSCVA. They are, we do use property performance and room nights, consume room nights to determine whether they hit the leisure goal or not. On the group side, we get validation of contract, not of actual consumption at the time of booking, because group generally books to the future.
Yep.
So we're getting gold and credit based on what is booked, not what is cooked, as we say in our world.
thank you.
I thought the same thing, that would there be another bucket then that would,
No.
yeah.
Two completely different, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Alvazar, do you have any questions? Not hearing any.
Sorry,
so-
sorry, Madam Chair. No, I do not. Thank you.
No worries. So I guess, if there's no other discussion, then we are looking for a motion to make this change.
I make a motion to
Mr. East.
reduce the room goal as stated for forgive me, is it the leisure, the sports?
Tourism, or leisure sales, yeah.
Tourism and leisure sales, to, when it 465,000, I'm looking at it right now.
675.
75. 675,000.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Esquaga. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed, please say nay. We have passed that unanimously. Okay, clicking along, we're now comments from the committee members. Do we have any comments from the committee? I'm not seeing any. The CEO, do we have comments?
I just, again, Mike Larry, for the record, I just want to appreciate the conversation. Thank you. It's, even though I've been sitting in the seat for almost 2.5 years, it is still incredibly awkward to have the conversation about you. That being said, I do appreciate it, and I'm extremely grateful for your recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, we'll now move to comments from the floor by the public. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone?
No public comment at this
Okay.
time.
Well, thank you everyone for a wonderful meeting. We are adjourned at 2:58. 1 hour. Good job.